Hey, what's going on, guys? Seeker here, and this is another analytics view. This time we're looking at someone else who was on my stream, a lovely person called the name of Sammy, and you can actually see I'm playing Zagara in this one.
Fighting is what I do.
So, first things first, with Valeera. This is the gameplay that we're going to be analyzing, Valeera. Sammy is a high silver, low gold MMR rated player. Looking at the skill that she's just taking, spending combo points, glance block, I'm not entirely sure that's the best thing to do. But it's not particularly terrible either. So we're going to be trying to evaluate what is going right and what's going wrong. Don't know why my camera went like that. Very strange. We're going to be trying to evaluate what's going right, what's going wrong, and the general points of improvement. Just like when we were watching the replay with Samuro.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let our battle begin.
Okay, popping into stealth nice and early. You can see that Zagara has just sort of semi-engaged here. Right, now it's 2-on-1. Valeera's coming in from behind. If they push all the way up, this should be good. But they don't, and she's just shadowing them. That's a good thing. Waiting for the right moment. That's good. There we go. Perfect move. Applied pressure. Got him out of lane. Faking out and going into the mid and then coming back down. Again, good move. So again, good little combo, applying pressure. Now, whilst this is happening, let's have a quick look at some of the other lanes. So we've got mid lane, who's struggling a little bit. Looks like Falstad's about to go down. Not Falstad, sorry. Oh yeah, Falstad. No, what am I on about? It looks like we're going to have a problem here with Artanis. He's probably going to go down. So at this point, the best thing to do would be to leave Zagara solo on both of these two and rotate up to mid, see if you can apply some pressure up there. Genji made a bad misstep here, so that's actually really good. You could see that Sammy was just trying to come up here, maybe potentially rotate up towards mid lane. But when Genji made that misstep, no hesitation, came straight back down for the gank.
Heroes, night will fall in just a few moments.
That was good.
I hope you're ready.
So my issue here is that Valeera should be trying to roam around, get a lot of kills, provide a lot of map pressure. By rotating to lanes, you're never quite sure where Valeera is going to go. Now, if Valeera is just hanging around a bot lane, that can work to your advantage, because they might think, oh yeah, Valeera's going to go out of lane now. No, bam, she's back in there. In this position here, there's not a lot of use for Valeera right here. Tracer is going to run backwards up here, up this way, okay? That's not going to do any good for anyone. I'm standing here. I'm quite happy pushing the lane. Mid is having some troubles. Okay, we know that because Artanis has gone down. We know that Falstad's still there. And Garrosh, I believe, was the other one who's up here, is still fairly healthy. So, top lane's a non-factor right now. But mid lane is where you should be rotating to in this situation. This lane is already doing strong. You could rotate up to mid. Get some pressure, help out with this minion wave here, and then retreat down bot lane again, or try to make a play up in top lane if you really wanted to. And again, being this side of the map is not particularly great because Night Terrors are spawning in 17 seconds, So really, you want to be positioning yourself more in towards the middle end of the map here, and looking and seeing, okay, can I get a pick on this one in the mid lane? Is the mid lane perhaps going to rotate else or go back to base? I don't think so with his health, but it's a possibility. And then evaluate your play from there. And again, this brings back to something that I mentioned in Salandros' video. This is sort of like a hesitation. You're not quite sure where you're going to be going. You're not quite sure. You can't really get a pick because it's too close to their towers. They've got too much ammunition. The wave's right pushed up. You being here is not going to be the best thing. Now, Artanis has come back to lane, which is fine. But now with everything spawning, you definitely want to be heading up. And that's a little bit of time wasted that could have been put to better use elsewhere. And again, waiting for this opening, waiting for the Tracer to push. I'm not so sure it's really worth it. Dawnseeker, Zagara's on full health, Tracer's on half health, and he can happily siege up. In the meantime, you could be really applying pressure to this Garrosh and getting in position now with 1 second left to get into the Garden of Terror. So just be a little bit more aware of what's happening outside of the map. It's clear that you've got your own plan. It's clear that you're waiting for Tracer to push up and try and get a gank. But you really could have separated this level divide a little bit if you'd have rotated up mid instead of just hanging around here.
The Shamblers rise! Slay them! Claim their seeds!
So again, you're sort of lingering around, waiting for the chance to get onto one of these two. Zagara can just push happily, even though Zagara's on low mana. Mid lane's starting to push out pretty well against Garrosh, but we have no information on the other three. It's quite probable that Gazlo is now starting to take these two, probably along with Garrosh and Falstad. So the correct thing to do in this case, as Valeera, is either, if you're going to do something here, you need to do it soon. Right? You've wasted a lot of time already down here. You need to either rotate up to mid, start taking some of these camps, or really make a hard push. There's not a lot else you can do in this situation, but you need to do something. You can't just be sort of dwindling and hanging around in the side of the map forever. Okay, so you got a failed gank there on the Tracer. But that's fine. Again, you force the Tracer out of lane. Now the issue is this. Can you get the Genji? Doubtful. So, knowing that you've just started to pull ahead a little bit on levels, you should really be focusing towards the objective and trying to help out with a team fight, and a team fight that might break out in case Garrosh and Gazlo and everyone else rotates down.
Select a talent.
Okay, so here, Artanis went in. I don't think that's the smartest thing for the Artanis to do. Zagara's running low on mana. You've really got to all in here to try and prevent Artanis from dying. So that's the right call. That's the right thing to do. But rather than continue the pressure, you back off. And I'm not sure why you back off. D.Va's just finished taking this here. You were about here. You could have just slipped up this side. Instead, you're going around this way. That's actually wasting more time. So being indecisive and not quite understanding perhaps where you need to rotate to, where you can hold off with, that's going to be your first thing that I want to point out. Just go in for... Make a decision and go in for it. Initiative self-abilities award more combo points. I think that's good, considering you built into the armor first. If you didn't build into the armor first, I'm not sure that would be the best thing to pick. But given that you picked the combat readiness perk, that's probably the best thing to do as a secondary. So again, there's not really a lot of action going on. It's really hard to call something when nothing's happening. D.Va's focusing on these neutral objectives, but D.Va's low. We still have no idea about Garrosh and Falstad, although we do know that Gazlo is running a little bit low, and we've got 2 guys up there. Raynor will probably go back. Artanis will come in and pick up the kill, hopefully. But you need to be doing something here. Again, there's a huge minion wave in mid that you could be going after, getting a lot of experience, or you could be helping D.Va finish this out, and then rotating up here. Now, because we know that Garrosh and Falstad have been missing, and both of these have now gone on the map, then we know, safe enough to say, that they've come and they've pushed all of these out, right? So now, they're going to be pushing here. With this information, we now know where everyone is. Gazlo's low, he's probably going to die or go back. Garrosh and Falstad are going to be here, probably trying to take down the big monster. We know that Tracer and Genji are having a rough time here. At the end of the day, you need to do something. You need to rotate up. You need to help D.Va out with this. You need to sponge in mid. You need to be. There is so much more you could be doing at this point instead of darting around here, rotating down here, and going around the back here. I know you're trying to look for a pick. I know you're trying to play a bit more aggressive, but you're not being aggressive enough, and you're ignoring the rest of the objectives to do so. That's problematic. So this is good. Now you're rotating up to, try and get into mid lane. That's good. Again, D.Va was in no position to take down the boss. But then you sort of, again, you're hovering around here. Come out, help push the flank. Good. That's good. Perhaps a little bit too quick on the get out there, but better to be a little bit too quick than too slow. Now this is good. You were going to go in here, you sort of hesitated, which wasn't good, but it worked out in your favor because you've caught this Garrosh out here. That's really strong. And again, I mentioned this previously in the other video. When you are taking objectives, proper positioning is important. If you're not going to help out with this objective, you are in the correct position. You want to be zoning from this area here, which is correct. You got your squishy in the backside here. Raynor's a little bit out of position. D.Va's tanking this up, so that's fine. You're actually doing something really good here. Now, here's a bit of a dilemma. Do you keep chasing onto the Garrosh, or do you turn around and hit the Falstad? I could see that dilemma there. But there is no reason why you shouldn't have gone after that Falstad right there. Right there. Ignoring the fact that there's a skirmish going on here, you should be all over this Falstad. Artanis can take Gazlo. At this point, I would have thought. I would have hoped. And that's why you should have gone on this Falstad a lot earlier. If you'd have gone on him down here, that would have applied necessary pressure on the Falstad, and that would have forced him to do 2 things. One, it would have forced him to either go back here and retreat, which means you would have won this lane, you would have secured this objective down here for certain, even though it's pretty much for certain here. You would have prevented Artanis from dying, or he would have gone back to try and pick up the kill, but perhaps Artanis would have survived that, turned on him, and then you would have, been able to keep him alive that way. Either way, if you'd have reacted a little bit quicker and just gone, right, I need to go on this Falstad, and just played hard aggressive, you would have got the exact same result that you're going to get now, only Artanis would have definitely survived that.
You're done. Double kill. Select a talent.
And if you've gone here and done that, you would have also avoided all of this damage here from the wave. Engaging into a wave, especially on the low level, is not the best idea, especially if you're not a tank. So now you're forced to basically retreat, well, you can't take this because it's already on cooldown, I think, for you. Yeah, it is already on cooldown. So you've now got to go back to base. You're now completely out of it. In the meantime, Garrosh has come back. Tracer's coming back. She's just throwing a pulse bomb out here, I believe. Diva's going to go down. We've taken this objective, so we should be safe to get out of here at this point. But if you had more health and you'd have taken him when he was here, you could already be rotating down, pick up this kill on this Garrosh, and provide pressure on the Tracer to make sure that this Tracer didn't follow up. So acting a little bit earlier here would have actually turned this game right around on its head, and maybe, just maybe, you could have got up close to level 8 at this point, instead of being sort of dawdling around the 7 mark.
It's over for now. But don't get too comfortable. The infested will return again.
Has a hero gone missing?
So I missed this. You took the Assassinate perk. In this game that you're playing right now, that is not the best thing to be taking here. You have missed, so far, 2 chances to actually where this perk would have been good. Just now in the Foul Stud fight, and once earlier, I believe, it was with the Genji. So knowing that in this case, it looks like you're playing more towards a team fight-oriented character, you're not going to be getting isolated heroes. That's the key word there, isolated. Instead, maybe you should focus more on either Fatal Finesse, because you are dealing a lot of damage to heroes, so getting that quest done will be pretty simple, or Slice and Dice. I don't think Assassinate was the best option here, considering your playstyle in this game. I don't think it's entirely necessary that you rotated down to mid here, but I'm not going to complain.
The absent hero has returned.
Okay, and again, even though that's a failed gank, it's not a bad failed gank. It's provided enough pressure to get the Genji going back to base. So that was good. You hesitated going in here, and that's completely the correct thing to do. All Tracer would have had to have done is get a lucky blink, and you'd have been screwed because of the tower slow. Waiting until Tracer came to here was good. That was a misplay on the Tracer's part, though.
An excellent kill.
So now you're rotating up to mid. That's good. Okay. So you've just rotated up to mid. That's good. That's the exact correct place where you should be at this point in time. These three, engaging on any of these three right now is not going to go well in your favor. So that's good. Stalling out the engage. Finally engaging on the correct target. That's good. And again, you win the lane by pushing the Genji out. And what I particularly love is that you are targeting this Genji quite a lot. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but this is good. Every time the Genji is in a position where he thinks he's safe, you are jumping on him. That is making him frustrated and will tilt him in the actual game. So by focusing purely on this, on making this Genji's life hell, you're actually doing more, even though you are not getting the kills for it. I mean, I don't know if you just noticed, but Genji actually came out on the minimap twice there and went back in. Genji's afraid. This is a good sign. He's just done it another 4 times since I've said that. So again, you're rotating down bot lane. That's not the best thing to do, but not the worst either. Okay, so here's the thing that I kind of want to point out. If you can't get this Gazlo at this point, it's a wasted gank. Okay? Falstad, I'm going to rewind it about 7 seconds. Right? And the reason that I want to point this out is just watch this Falstad's positioning as we go into this team fight. Right here. Right here, this Falstad's made such a huge error because he's diving in onto 2 towers that are practically full of ammunition. So now at this point, you're actually in a better position to take down this Falstad, knowing that his his barrel roll, has just come off of cooldown. So he's already used that. He's got no escape. This Gazlo can still escape, and you've still got the turrets and the minions that you've got to bear into consideration with this. Right? So at this point, if I was you, I'd be turning around and going straight onto this Falstad, not pursuing the Gazlo, purely because of this lapse of clarity when it came to his positioning. Good to get out of there while she could. That was good. But again, if you'd have gone on the Falstad a little bit sharper and just noticed he's gone in, then you would have potentially been able to get a kill from that. And what I want to say is this will come in time, but eventually you will, and this is what I do. Whenever you're taking down someone or you're focusing on one target, always look around for who is going to be next on your kill line. Because if they're in the wrong position, then you are getting a free kill from that. And that could have really got you the ultimate, and then could have maybe helped you clear up a little bit easier. But that's the correct thing to do. Backing right off there.
Fine with me.
Yep. So Gazlo made an error there. You punished him for it. That is huge. That is really important. Punishing people who make these sort of stupid mistakes, staying around in lane when they're not on a lot of health, especially when you know that there's a hero that's right by in stealth. Yeah. And Smoke Bomb, I think, is the correct thing to take here. Cloak of Shadows, because you are already doing very well in escaping, and because there is not a lot of crowd control effects on their team that you've come across so far, you can safely say that Cloak of Shadows is not going to be worthwhile in this case. So Smoke Bomb is definitely the correct call here.
One life taken to save none.
I told you to watch your back.
Not sure why you used it there?
Killing spree. Defend this realm without pause.
Not sure why you used it there, but that was
Don't
good.
make it so easy.
That was a good little final kill there on the Falstad. So it looks like you're rotating up to mid. Trying to punish this Tracer and the Genji, and that's good. That's correct. This is what an assassin hero should be doing. And again, you punish the Genji hard. Again, knowing that the Genji and the Tracer both have an escape, you picking the Genji there is 100% the correct target, because you've been focusing on him a lot and he's already somewhat paranoid. He's going to be very, very careful from now on. Now, I think this is good that you didn't actually go on the Falstad here. I think D.Va was expecting you to, but I think this is good. Falstad's not really going to be doing a lot from here. And knowing that Gazlo was going to be getting himself out of position and the minion waves are equal, this is a good call.
Quite the display.
I was taught by Rhaegar Earth. Hearthstone break.
The Shamblers rise again! Free my seeds, heroes!
An enemy fort has fallen.
So you saw the Genji, you're going to be hunting for him, that's good.
Let my...
You know that they're retreating, so turning on this Falstad's the correct thing to do, but being prepared to get out if you can. Okay, so now this is what I was on about. The being prepared to get out when you can. Turning on the Falstad, Great move. Now you got to get out in like very quickly, because now it's going to be a 3-on-1, and this Genji is going to be out for blood. And this is correct as well. Artanis has gone in. I just want to point this out. Artanis has gone in, right? So, being that Artanis has gone in, you getting out is still the correct thing to do, because there is no way you could win this fight as a duo. This is correct.
Excellent. March forth. Uproot your enemy's forts.
So now you're going into a 4 versus 2 with a potential that Raynor might join you, but Raynor's farming up. And your Terror, your Garden Terror, is already being used. I wouldn't have gone for this fight, even if you can clear one of them up. Your ult's not on cooldown. It's going to be very difficult for you to get out of this if you were to even get in and kill this Genji. And that was a good judgment call that you made there, to not engage and to see what you can do afterwards. Now, at this point, you've got a couple of options. You can try and help out the Raynor, but Tracer is likely to escape. Gazlo is in a fairly safe place. His positioning is really strong here. Garrosh isn't. So knowing that you want to be protecting your Garden Terror, your asset, and allowing it to do as much damage, and that Garrosh can be a problem, you should be trying to engage here onto the Garrosh, even if it's just to buy time. Because I'm not sure what that benefit, like, if that benefited anyone at all. What you just did there. However, rotating around here is not a bad thing to do. And you get the pick. That's good. This is the correct positioning. If you'd have done this on the Garrosh earlier on, then perhaps this would have gone a little bit easier and a little bit smoother. But hey ho. Now, this is interesting. You took Death from Above here, and I'm not really sure you need that. Death from Above is really helpful if you're not good with positioning. Being the fact that your positioning has been pretty on point this entire game, taking Death from Above here is really not the best thing to do. You don't need it. It's going to be almost wasted. So, what else could we have potentially took? Increased Vanish movement speed? Perhaps. If you're going to be rotating a lot more throughout the rest of this game, that would be something that you would focus on. Otherwise, take Blind. They're using a lot of heroes that rely on auto-attack damage. Falstad, Tracer, and Genji are two huge ones. So blinding them is actually going to give you a lot more survivability and allow you to play more aggressively and to get these kills and these picks that you've been trying to go for, but then you've sort of slightly backed out of. If you had Blind, you could go right in on it. Now, this is not ever a very smart thing to do. And this is why I do not like Death from Above and similar things from different heroes that put you into a disposition. You're now getting hit by the freezing tower, the minion wave's coming up. Yes, we can probably get this gate down, but put it in any other situation, that is a bad move. You've ended up in a very bad spot for no gain, and you've lost a ton of health by doing this. And now you have to back off, and rightfully so. Because you shouldn't be trying to engage at this point with low health. So this went very well for you, but I don't think it went well. And please don't take this the wrong way. I don't think it went well because of your involvement in this. I think you were just a sort of a slight catalyst that managed to get it down a little bit quicker. At this point, with such low health, you really shouldn't be here. You can rotate to top, go back to base, rotate to top, help clear up this enemy Garden Terror. So again, you've got this hesitation here. It's clear from Raynor and this minion we're pushing up and the Zagara that they are trying to push this as their win condition, okay? So that's the win condition you're going to be playing towards, or nothing at all. You can rotate up, grab this. You can rotate down and grab this. You can move back here and grab this. Anything is going to be more productive than you hanging around here at this point. Unless this Gazlo gets really cocky, which he shouldn't be doing, because he's, even though Garrosh is coming up in a second, this is not a good situation for him. You should be thinking, okay, do I really need to be here at this exact moment in time? If you are answering yes, ask yourself why you have to be here at this given point. Do you have to be here at this given point because you're pushing the objective? Do you have to be here at this given point because you are zoning? Well, if you are here because you're pushing the objective, you need to push the objective. And if you're here because you want to be zoning, you should be here. Okay? This is not good positioning for zoning. It is a good position to start peeling off and doing something else. Okay?
Select a talent.
That was a good dodge. And again, not getting involved in this fight, correct thing to do. No one's turning around. No one's going to try and get on in it. You engaging in this fight is not the smart thing to do. So good job on this. Okay, so this is a little bit of a shame. If you'd have gone in on this Gazlo here, now that these guys have turned around because they've gone so far out of their comfort zone, you could actually really do something huge here and just deal a shit ton of damage and potentially take this down. With Raynor's ultimate up, Falstad now going into retreat, and Genji all the way over here. Even if he gets out, he's only going to get out to about here, which means he's going to run into you. And bear in mind that Genji's been shit scared of you this entire game because you've been focusing on him. You should be going on to this Gazlo right now. So you eventually go on to the Gazlo. Could have been a little bit quicker. Again, Heroes of the Storm is a game of seconds, not minutes. If you'd have gone in there, like right there, D.Va wouldn't have needed to use her ultimate, and everyone else would have got out safely, and you could potentially have picked up more than just the one kill. Good. Re-engaging was the correct thing to do, and backing out here is the correct thing to do. Well done.
Hearthstone break.
Okay, so this is good. The team's pushing up here. We can tell already the position of everyone, right? Tracer was down here. She backed off, okay? Genji and Garrosh are down here. Gazlo is down here making a push for this tower. He's probably tilted. Falstad's all alone. And he's very, very far out of position considering this objective is still up. Punishing him here is the correct answer. Also, Swift Thistle activate to instantly restore some energy. I think that's good. I think that's good. You don't really need exposed armor. Rupture, you're not building into it. Yeah, I think the Thistle Tea is the correct thing to do here. So you provided pressure, you pushed them off of this. You clean up, that's good. Raynor didn't need to use his ultimate there. Again, not sure why you used your ultimate there. Maybe that was a misclick. But you really didn't need to use your ultimate there.
Terror has come to life. Use it to harvest your enemies' corpses.
Good little pick.
I told you to watch your back.
Alas, we have lost the fight. You shall fall.
That was good. Keep clearing up. But again, you're sort of lingering around here. Again, you could be putting pressure on the foul side. You could be pushing the objective. It's clear that you're going to win this game, right? So just make sure you close it out. Okay? Reynolds in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to back out. So they're going to need a little bit more DPS on here if you want to guarantee, 100% guarantee that you're going to win this. Or you're going to want this foul side going and running like a little schoolgirl. Either way, being here is not good for you. Especially considering the tower is zapping all of these minions that are around you, and you're going to take some of the AoE splash damage from it now. And there you go. You eventually engage into the foul stat. That's good, but you should have done that a little bit quicker.
Well placed.
MVP.
And good, having the top hero damage on Valeera is really, really strong. So the fact you didn't die just shows that your positioning was fine. You do need to work on your build a little bit, and you need to think a little bit more in the actual game, how you are playing and what you are doing. And you just need to make sure that you are taking these chances and these options whenever you can. You are a Valeera. You are clearly quite a good Valeera. You need to make the most of it. You need to focus on the targets that you can get a pick on. You need to punish them for their poor positioning. You need to make sure that you are going really aggressive on the targets that are isolated. And if you are going into this build where you get more damage from isolated targets, make it count. Stop going in on the team fights. Rotate a little bit more. Try and get these isolated picks when it is just you and this other hero, and you'll do really well. Otherwise, change up your build a little bit so that you can blind them and be a little bit more skirmishy and back and forthy. That'll really work well for you in the long run. This was a pretty clean game. You did make some mistakes. The good news is it's not any mistakes that were catastrophic. It was just little moments where just going for that kill could have ended this game maybe a minute or two earlier. And again, if you're going to be involved in teamfight, don't go with the isolated pick build. If you're going to be getting isolated picks, go for the isolated pick build. The time where you let the foul stat go, not good. The time where you could have really put pressure on the Garrosh, again, not particularly good. Those were two times where the isolated pick would have really come in handy, but you didn't take them. So if you're not going to make the most out of it, and if you're not going to take every single hero that is isolated, don't go for that talent. Okay? So this has been my second coaching video. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you find the tips that are in this video useful. Thank you very much to Sammy for submitting this clip, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.